Gary Ridgway, born on February 18, 1949, terrorized the Seattle area in the 1980s and early 1990s. He preyed on vulnerable young women, many of whom were involved in sex work. His crimes left a deep scar on the community, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty.
Perfect victim. They're getting into a car and they're trying to do it secretly because they don't want to get caught by the undercover police officer that might be watching. They don't want to get caught by the patrol officer driving by. So as far as victims go, he picked easy targets.
By the end of 1983, 13 bodies had been found and 24 more women had been reported missing. Some of them were last seen in a pickup truck. The police followed every tip, including one that actually led to Gary Ridgway for the first time. A young woman named Marie Malvar disappeared. A witness saw her get into a pickup truck and later noticed the vehicle parked at Ridgway's house. The police interviewed Ridgway, who convinced them he was not their man.
He has this unassuming, unintimidating demeanor. You could stand next to him in a grocery store.
Do this anytime.
Hey, tell me first of all where you were and how you discovered these.
Well, I can't, name the road exactly because I really don't know the road. It's just in a canyon going down a hill. And my mom had dropped me and a friend off to, start collecting cans there, and she'd meet us back later. Well, I went down the hill, I picked up a few cans and walked about 20 feet up the canyon a little and discovered the bones.
Just lying there out in the open?
Just lying, they were like leg bones, 2 long leg bones. I picked one up, just to see if it was a bone. It was, and I set it back down, picked up a stick, started, moving in the area of the plywood where the body was, there's, bones all underneath the plywood, all scattered up, above the skull. And I must have triggered something because the skull fell, come rolling down, and then that's when I just kind of sat there for a minute and started screaming for my friend.
Was it in a real wooded area or bushy, or was it open?
Well, it wasn't too wooded, it wasn't open. It was like the canyon with the trees on the side, that was about it. So, that's all I can think.
And this looked like what, a riverbed or?
Old creek bed, dried up creek bed. About like that, and then it had, above the skull was some more bones of the, skeleton.
So you definitely thought it was human?
Oh yeah, there was no doubt about it. I couldn't say if it was a girl or a boy, but I know it wasn't a man because the teeth were small, and, it was weird.
Any clothes or anything else around?
Just bones.
Well, what did you think about this?
Gary Ridgway, the notorious Green River Killer, was abruptly moved from Washington State Penitentiary to King County Jail. This unexpected transfer has sent shockwaves through the community, particularly among the families of his victims. Ridgway is serving 49 life sentences for the murders of numerous women in the 1980s and 1990s. Authorities have remained tight-lipped about the reasons behind the move. They have only stated that Ridgway is on an institutional hold. This lack of transparency has fueled anxiety and speculation. Families of the victims are left grappling with unanswered questions. Why has Ridgway been moved? What does it mean for them? The King County Sheriff's Office, responsible for Ridgway's custody, has not provided further details. This silence has left the public and the families in a state of uncertainty. The unexpected event has reopened old wounds. It has brought back the painful memories of Ridgway's horrific crimes. Gary Ridgway, born on February 18, 1949, terrorized the Seattle area in the 1980s and early 1990s. He preyed on vulnerable young women, many of whom were involved in sex work. His crimes left a deep scar on the community, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Ridgway's methods were brutal. He would often lure his victims to remote areas. He strangled them, then disposed of their bodies in or near the Green River. This pattern earned him the chilling moniker, the Green River Killer. The brutality of his crimes and the sheer number of victims solidified his place as one of the most prolific serial killers in American history.
Your goal is to keep him talking.
Ridgway evaded capture for nearly 2 decades. His crimes left law enforcement and the families of his victims desperate for answers. The investigation faced numerous challenges. The transient nature of some victims made identification difficult. The lack of forensic evidence at many crime scenes hindered progress. However, a breakthrough came with the advent of DNA profiling. In 2001, DNA evidence linked Ridgway to several of the murders. This scientific advancement finally brought an end to his reign of terror. His arrest brought a mix of relief and renewed pain as the horrifying extent of his crimes came to light.
Explain that process to me.
Let's say she's always in the car.
Section 4. A legacy of pain, a glimmer of hope. Ridgway's 2003 plea deal spared him the death penalty in King County. However, he was sentenced to 49 life sentences without the possibility of parole. While this ensured he would never walk free again, it did little to ease the pain of the victims' families. Despite the passage of time, the investigation into Ridgway's crimes has never truly closed. Law enforcement agencies continue to pursue leads and utilize advancements in DNA technology. They strive to identify victims and potentially uncover more of Ridgway's heinous acts. Section 5. Unanswered questions linger. The recent transfer of Ridgway to King County Jail has only deepened the mystery surrounding his case. Is he cooperating with authorities on new leads? Are there unresolved cases that might see a resolution with his help? Or is there another, yet unknown reason behind his move? The sealed court records related to his transfer further fuel speculation. It is unclear when or if these records will be made public. This lack of transparency only amplifies the anxiety of the victims' families. They deserve clear and timely information about the developments in the case. Donna Hurley, who lost her daughter to Ridgway's brutality, voiced her concerns. She, like many others, believed that Ridgway's transfer must have a purpose. The families of the victims, who have already endured unimaginable pain, deserve answers. The hope for justice, even after all these years, continues to flicker.